Good morning, everybody. I hope you don't expect another lecture on this kind of objects, because I decided to do it very differently. I'm principal investigator of two projects for Slovenia, in both times, of course. Transfer of cultural objects in Alpe-Adria region, this so-called Transkult AI project, EU HERA project, and digitalization of Slovene heritage, this our today project. And these both projects somehow influenced enormously my life. I would not necessarily say only on negative side, but really, because this kind of data collecting, and I went to completely naive, but also prepared to do data collecting, digitalization, and all these kinds of research. For Slovenian side in these two projects, and what was really what I knew already before the beginning of the project, that these kind of projects are not possible only in Slovenia. They should be international. But all the rest I left here, how it goes on. I would like to give you some ideas what I think after this extremely specific 3 years of my life, or at least one is really turbulent, how I try to understand art history as humanities discipline. After 23 years of research career, and I was also 13 years director of Francescale Institute, but somehow focuses are now a bit different. I wanted to start with these two slides, or these two illustrations. These both are from the 1950s, how Western and Eastern part in Cold War understood art, or the probably also the mission of art. And I would say it will be a simplification, but I would say in a way, in the same way. So there is no place for individuals. There is no place for trauma processing. There is no place for thinking about this very, very painful history of Second World War. We started, as I already said, in this European project to collect data. Our main goal was to do as possible as archival work, to collect and to combine our knowledge. There are 4, or I would say 5 countries in this project. Germany as Munich Central Institute, Dr. Christian Fuhrmeister as project leader. And then Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, together with Austria. It was not it's not possible to have Austria as full partner, because they are completely funded from the state. So it was only a funding question. And we really did this repository, and source edition will be in next month finished, and compared. I studied 3 weeks at State Archive in Berlin, to understand the occupation, what happened with artistic heritage, with artworks in under German occupation. We had a lot of problems in Trieste, in Italy, with the document, the archive, because it is still, and this is really this difference between these two countries, Germany and Italy, how they proceed with provenance research and restitution questions. Because in Italy, of course, because of Istria and everything was, it is not history. Also in Slovenia, not history. I'm very curious how it is this difference between Croatia and Slovenia, because in Slovenia it's definitely not history, but in Croatia it seems much better. Hopefully it will be this way, also in, okay, sorry, in next years. After this really hard work with archives and the idea to investigate, especially World War II, there was also international conference in March 2018 in Ljubljana with an exhibition, and afterwards there were, I think, more or less for political level, or this project, even though we avoided all the confiscations made from new government in Slovenia, it was a project somehow politically completely incorrect and not allowed to go this way further. This kind of research, which is part of provenance research in Germany. I'm showing only one database, German Lost Art Foundation, and Lost Art database. It's extremely important, but to combine nowadays institutionalization of art and what is the mission of art history, only to prepare this data, I think that we should go further. And also, after 20 years extensive research in Germany, last year was prepared an exhibition. There are many, not many, but I think this is somehow starting point to do further step exhibition in City Museum in Munich, and it was entitled Once Jewish Property, and one of the main about acquisitions of City Museum during in 30s and World War II. And in this part of this exhibition was also a project on inherited cultural objects or objects, and the idea that Germans bring to the museum objects from Jewish property, and to understand or to discuss these stories, family stories, and their feelings, and how they understand and how they are able to deal with this kind of legacy. The author of this project, she brought a spoon, and this was somehow the beginning of this long process. I think it's start of this process, how to deal with this heritage in private possession, not only in museums. Another very important, I think, impressive documentary movie was made also last year, yes, it was prepared last year, about auctionists. And this it is historical research, but at the same time combined with Jewish expropriated heirs of from the Second World War, and it is for me it was not to believe how this old woman, she is German, and she understood that as a child she got music instruments, and for her it was this. Of course, at the beginning of the war, from Jewish property, and she said, for me this was so important to have these instruments. It was a possibility to learn, to play, and then now because she's quite I don't know, about 90 years old, and she said, now I will give this back because nobody in my family needs this anymore, and I'm now ready to give this to Jews back. And it is impossible to. And she actually knew from which Jewish family this is all these years, and to discuss this kind of questions connected with our art history research, I think it's extremely important. And also in Transculture project, we had similar not project, but similar case with Italian. We can then, I will not discuss anymore this, we can, in discussion, we can go further with this, about feelings in both sides and how to deal with this heritage. In Slovenia, there were two lists of artists prepared at the end of the Second World War. They were put in groups of 5 or 7 groups, and according to their role in the war. And this kind of lists to define who is who actually influences our art history and all other kinds of life also nowadays. These lists still have extreme political political importance, and all the research should be according this, even though should be history, like Slovenian Impressionist exhibition was planned, and the first exhibition in a modern new building of modern gallery, also modern a national exhibition on these artists. Impressionism. And Renato already yesterday mentioned Moshe Piade and his role, and actually his call or his visit to Modern Gallery also made possible this exhibition, because he said they are my friends, they were my friends, my colleagues, and this is why he then it was politically allowed to prepare this kind of exhibition. As Jew, he was for sure a national hero, Jew, and the most important artist connected to new government, and also he also did a portrait of Tito, but when he decided to step back from politics and move to Paris, his life was not very long there. I also want to mention, we prepared 2 weeks before our this international conference a Slovenian workshop about what are the topics of our today conference, and I discussed these questions with Boris Hajdinjak, who is not with us today, but he is director of Synagoga, and I think that's one of really the most important historians in Slovenia dealing with our topic. We discussed the question or the role or the circumstances about Vojislav